Hello everyone, I'm Firdaush Shireen and I'm doing my Masters in English in the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad. The theme on which my paper is based on is innovative approaches to English teaching and learning. I would like to discuss about why there is a need of recommending Indian multilingual dictionaries within an Indian classroom, while mainstream dictionaries effectively convey the most and the least used meanings of words. They might leave the user in confusion as to which meaning suits the context the best. In a country like India, which has about 30 major languages, with only 17% of students going to English medium schools, these native English catering dictionaries lack various words that came into being due to the interaction between vernacular languages and various other socio-political situations in the region. My aim here is to elaborate upon the shortcomings of conventional dictionaries and how content rich multilingual dictionaries, along with multilingual education, can open a new door to better language learning. Now, why do these conventional dictionaries fail their purpose in Indian classrooms? Well, while printed dictionaries can provide us with accurate meanings and their varieties, they don't teach us how to use the same words in sentences and neither provide us with the morphosyntactical information of the words in question. What happens is that the child can infer the meaning and is able to register it in the brain but is unable to use the word effectively or produce the word effectively. For example, the dictionary might define the word grilled as a verb, and if you look at some of the online dictionaries, it might also provide you with its etymology, right? But it doesn't describe how the word is supposed to be used in a sentence. This results in sentences like she grilled on the barbecue, which conveys the meaning that it is the subject she who is being grilled on the barbecue, which of course is very wrong and gross. So, what we need to use it as is she grilled the steak on the barbecue. So, the verb grill needs an object. The work or the action of grilling needs an object. So, when you only say she grilled on the barbecue, it gives us the wrong meaning. But we need to say she grilled something or the steak. You need to give an object to be grilled on the barbecue, right? Now, there is also a lack of addition of new loan words and new meanings. Let's take the example of the word swipe. We can see the conventional dictionaries don't provide us with the meaning of the swiping movement of fingers while using the smartphones. Okay, now I'm going to give you a sentence which says, my grandmother baked me a nice cake. So the word nice has about 50 synonyms to itself. I'll give you some examples here. The first one is enjoyable, the second one is agreeable, the third one is delightful, the fourth one is personable, and the fifth one is charming. Well, what do you think out of these five synonyms can replace the word nice in the sentence? Well, if we focus on it, or if we think, then we know that it is the word delightful that can actually precisely replace the word nice in this sentence. You can't have a charming cake, right? So, acceptance of these kinds of dictionaries are based on a monocultural assumption that every English learner comes from a background where English is at least their second language. Multilingual dictionary, on the other hand, enables and aids multilingual education that specifies the specifics of which I will be talking about later. So let's talk about the successes of multilingual education in India. I would be taking the case study of the impact of teaching in local dialect on the tribal children living in remote tribal area with special reference to Bastar, Dantewada and Sukma districts of Chhattisgarh. So the aim was to record the impact of a new curriculum on attendance, retention, teaching and learning processes, achievements and the interest in expression skill in education. The research resulted in finding out that the overall attendance rate improved to 90.6%. Further research gave us a list of things that attracted students to school. We had attitude of teachers at 28%, sports and games at 26%, and local language medium topping the list with a whopping 46%. Multilingual education also fosters better knowledge of concepts in their own language, speeds up the learning curve. It the degree of unfamiliarity while dealing with unknown subject matter decreases, which leads to speeding up of learning processes. Most importantly, contextual education and induction of local languages contribute to a higher understanding of the contents of the text in hand. Interpersonal relationships between teachers, learners, and their peers strengthen considerably as well. So you might be thinking, what is the model of this multilingual dictionary that I'm talking about that I want to recommend into Indian classrooms? Well, in a multilingual dictionary, a person looks up a word or a phrase in one language and is presented with the translation in several languages. The concept of a multilingual dictionary is not modern at all. The oldest one can be dated back to 14th century, guys. So, for the benefit of Indian classrooms, I would like to suggest a multilingual dictionary that resembles the Rathavataro dictionary for the Esperanto language. You can see on your screen there's this word daimono which has been defined in the Esperanto language and then has been used in a sentence which is in the italics, and then there are five connotative words in the maroon color. Beneath that, you can see the translation of the word daimono into various languages. You have English, you have Belarusian, you have Bulgarian, you have French, you have German, and so on. Similarly, for the specific purpose of teaching English and especially vocabulary, we can define the 3000 high frequency words alphabetically or group them into categories depending on their field specificity or frequency of usage in daily life. We can also include other parts of speech and lexicon after listing out the words. After the definition, the usage of the word in a particular sentence is given as an example to clear any doubts about its usage. This would tackle the grilled and the nice cake problem that we talked about earlier. For multi-meaning words, an exemplar can follow after every definition. Following the sentences, we can mention the equivalent words in the dominant language of the country as well as a set of words in the local language that closely resemble or translate into the given word along with sentential examples for the words. The words should have phonetic representations as well. For a collection of information so big, it is recommended that the multilingual dictionary be made digitally available along with its printed out form. The printed versions of the dictionary will not only be cost effective, but it will also save students the physical space and effort spent in looking for and spending on different bilingual dictionaries as well as the traditional English only dictionaries. This dictionary is bound to work in both ways by providing an English equivalent to vernacular languages and vice versa. The content should be crowdsourced and is to be revised at least every other year. This would help in adding new and upcoming loan words as well as meanings to the existing pool of data. The digital version, on the other hand, should be kept open to editing by the netizens, just like in the case of Wikipedia. But before getting published, the content should be examined by a group of experts in different languages. So it is not like India is devoid of multilingual dictionaries. We already have various multilingual dictionaries like Angami English Hindi Dictionary and Our English Hindi Dictionary. I'm really sorry if I'm butchering these names. The only problem with these dictionaries is that they cater to a very specific section of the population. If the same initiative is taken on a larger scale, a lot of people can actually benefit from this. Vernacular language that have been long looked down upon will also gain their due respect in the society. To conclude, I strongly feel that there is gap to have a standardized dictionary catering to and aiding multilingual education in India, and I hope I was able to spark some thoughts in that direction. People, barring where they come from or which community they belong to, can grow and learn together. This could possibly work as another uniting factor for our already diverse country. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts. Thank you.